Hi, I'm Shivani and this is NIJ Lifestyle, where we bring to you the latest trends in food, nutrition, health and wellness. Good evening. Did you know that a simple pranayam such as Anulom Vilom helps remove toxins from the lungs, helps remove excess fluid buildup from the lungs, and helps in the flow of oxygenated blood to the lungs? It also helps in building up your immunity and lung capacity. That's why whenever I get a break from my work, even if I'm at my desk, I do a few rounds of Anulom Vilom, which oxygenate my body and help me face all these infections that are around us today. Of course, oxygen has been much in news in recent times, and there has been an oxygen shortage in our country due to which many people have suffered. But let me tell you that sometimes these oxygen shortages are created. Let's take the instance of Delhi. A lot of the problems that happened in Delhi were because of the mismanagement of all the resources that are available to any government. Now, let me explain this through a series of events that I have observed. I was reading an article on this too, which really gave me a clear picture as to what was happening in Delhi. So वो कहते हैं ना, chronology समझिए. So I would like to explain the chronology of this crisis in Delhi to you. Now, we all know that we have been facing this crisis for over a year now, and we handled everything pretty well in the first wave. But anticipating the second wave, the central government had given a grant of 200 crores from the PM CARES fund to various states to install oxygen plants in their states, including Delhi, which was given 8 plants to be set up. For these, the tenders were invited in November 2020, and the contracts were already given in December 2020 to set up 8 PSA oxygen plants. Now, whose responsibility is to check on this? If you're the chief minister of a state, that too which is a capital of a country, you need to be a little proactive rather than just featuring in a number of ads across news channels, which get quite irritating at times. So when this crisis broke out in April 2021, the checkup was done. It was found out that Delhi had not been set up even a single PSA oxygen plant for which the funds had been allocated. And the blame game started. It was stated that some of the contractors who had been given the contract had gone missing, and many hospitals had not given clearance for civil and engineering issues. Now, you have to find a solution. If you are the administrator of a city, you have to find solutions to every problem and not keep on asking the central government for every little thing. Not only was this a mismanagement of demand and supply, it was also a supply chain management problem. Because oxygen, if you ask for oxygen from other states, you need cryogenic tankers for this. For this also, many other states were proactive. They had started booking cryogenic tankers in advance. But in mid-April, when Delhi government woke up, there was a scarcity of these tankers. So different states like Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana had anticipated this clamor for cryogenic tankers and had already booked them with transporters in North India in advance. Again, Delhi government was left wanting. Also, nothing was stopping them from setting up their own PSA oxygen plants. Even if the central government has given a grant, a state government can also go ahead and set up oxygen PSA plants. So now I really wonder what is this planning of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, and all we get to see from him is cheap gimmicks like revealing a press conference to the media without the knowledge of the person who's hosting the press conference. And then today he has come up with a solution that vaccinations, the formula can be given to all pharma companies as if it is like a cookery show happening as if it's a recipe that can be made public. I mean, vaccination for a serious pandemic like this is made under expert security and safety environment. So let me not comment on that. Then the Delhi government came up with a plan of getting cryogenic tankers from Bangkok. Again, this plan was shelved because of many administrative hurdles that would have come in the way. And let me also apprise you that till 29th of April, Delhi government did not have a daily allocation of oxygen plan for various hospitals. There was not even a rudimentary plan in place that you're asking for oxygen from the center, but how are you going to allocate to the different hospitals according to their capacity? That was also not done. So it has been a failure at so many levels. It is unthinkable. And I mean, I shudder to think, because this is the capital of India, a city very close to my heart. That is why I'm kind of very angry making this. Delhi government did not have a helpline number where people could call up and find out about the 14 oxygen cylinder refiller stations that were set up. For that also, people were queuing all day up to like 6 to 7 hours, and when it was announced to them on the spot that they had to get their own ID card, the patient's ID card, and a prescription from the doctor, leaving them in a scurry to go home and get these things organized all over again. So imagine the trauma of people. Many people suffered because of this also. It amazes me that Mr. Kejriwal, who happens to be an IAS officer and has studied in IIT, what kind of intellect does he have, and can he use his education for the good of the people for a change than just putting up his own advertisement, self-aggrandizing advertisements all over the place. The Delhi government has 11 hospitals directly under it, and out of those, in 7 of them, central government is setting up the oxygen PSA plants. I mean, what stopped Delhi government for doing this on their own too? Always asking for central government to help like a crybaby is not always the best policy in a national crisis like this. Of course, the central government has to look into many other issues in many other states. So as the chief minister of a state, at least you should take more responsibility and onus. I hope they have learned something from this crisis, and I hope the people of Delhi get some respite with proactive planning and meticulous detail in these plans. I really hope and pray for the best. There have been many instances when cases of hoarding of cylinders have come into light. And after all this hullabaloo, when the central government offered to do an oxygen audit, sure enough, Delhi government is dilly-dallying on that one too. Sometimes all these inefficiencies make my blood boil and pulse race, because as a country we need to learn to be more efficient and make our leaders more accountable. I think I need to cool down a bit. Let me move on to another of my pranayam. I'll have to do this Brahmari, which is